concentrate on just the breath as you contemplate this and see what you're seeing right now. And as you're seeing these miraculous little light beings, billions of them, why are they there? That is another world that we see along with those five senses. For we are seeing life. Yes. Pure life. As you go deep, deep inside, you see these light beings, and something is causing some feelings inside. Do you feel tingling in your feet, toes, fingers? Do you feel heat in your hands? Yes, you might say, well, that's my blood circulating. Yes, it is. Like the ocean, that circulation in your body is just moving through you. You feel this not as a pain or a pleasure, because it's not your nervous system. This is life. Yes, life enters as you perceive through the five senses. Where does it go if it's real? Like the ocean, the circulation in the body is the carrier of life. That life is surging through you right now. As it goes through you, where does it enter? Well, it's always there. As you breathe, you turn on this switch that allows you to perceive, that allows life to circulate through your circulating system, your blood, your lymph. Those are the medium life is going through. Yes, we have a glandular system. Yes, we have energy systems, just like the senses. The endocrine system, the glands, do their job. What is that job? You know it as you breathe and you feel something, as you feel photons. You're feeling warmth. Something, what is it? It's the miracle of life. As you breathe, it just enters your body, does its thing. It knows that it knows that it knows. The soul speaks, allows, distributes. Not an eye, not an ear. It's that essence that feels and heals as it circulates through, around, in. As you breathe and you feel these sensations, know that that system is perfect. Those glands know when you turn the switch on. Those glands release. Yes, release. Life reacting in your body, mind, and soul. And just breathe into that. Allow those energy systems to receive the emissions, the secretions, as they manifest in who you are. That's the miracle that you are. And you are feeling and healing and being. Just breathe in this light. Yes, this light energy, the same energy that is chlorophyll, the same energy that is the new blade of grass, just appears out of nowhere. Those photons are everywhere. They need you to breathe. We breathe. We feel. We sense. And finally, we are grateful. And I rest in this moment, knowing that healing, feeling, being is our truth. I am grateful. We will begin the service shortly. The meditation service is over. My name is Chris Glick, and I invite you to stay for our service. Namaste. Thank you.
What a beautiful summer-y. It's not summer yet, but it feels summery. So it's a beautiful morning today. Sunny, peaceful, April already. It's so good to be here with you. And Reverend Mike is finishing up a service at the jails. And so he's doing his prison ministry this morning. He will be here for the annual meeting later, but he's not with us here today. So I'll go ahead and say his normal God morning to all of you. It's so good to be here. And so I'd like to go ahead and get us started by saying a few thank yous to the people who are here today, allowing us and helping us to put this service on today. And I want to start with our music ministry. We have on the piano here, we have our music director and pianist, Chris Glick. And then we have Leon Johnson on the bass. And Michael Rosen on the drums today. And we always have a practitioner here. And our practitioner of the day is Myrna Hawthorne, who's going to be doing the invocation and the reading. And then for our musical inspiration today, we have Tina Meeks, who is here every first Sunday of the month. I'm so glad to have her here. I have been listening into the practicing. I get the privilege of hearing a little bit, and I'm really looking forward to our music program this morning, Tina. And then today is our annual meeting. So back in the background, we have people doing all sorts of things. We've got folks setting up for some food after service today. I know we have chicken fettuccine and some salad and some other things to just nosh on a little bit before we have our annual meeting between 1 and 3 this afternoon. If you're joining us online, you can join us for the annual meeting at 1 o'clock on Zoom. We would love to have you down here, though. So if you have an opportunity after the service to get out of your pajamas, put some real clothes on, maybe a little bit of makeup, we would love to see you down here at 1 o'clock. And so we also have a few other people that are in the background here. We have Frederick Southern on our sound system. Let's give him a hand. And as Reverend Mike would say, Harris is back there. He slices, he dices, he puts everything on our screens for us. So let's say thank you to Harris, our technical director, I think is what Reverend Mike says. So it's so good to have us going here. I'd like to go ahead and invite Tina to come on up. She's going to do a congregational song for us. If you would love to have you go ahead and stand up while we prepare for the song.
Thank you, everybody. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I am one in the Spirit. All around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. Again, I'm thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm one in the Spirit all around me. Thankful, grateful, grateful. I trust in God. Gonna sing it again. I trust in God. I trust in God.
Thank you, Tina. And so we have a moment to just go within. I suggest that you take a nice deep breath in. Maybe it's your first deep breath of the week. Maybe not. I don't know. But whatever it is, let's just take that deep breath in and let it out together as we prepare for our music meditation.
When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what you see when I forget.
When you forget, I will remember for you. When you forget, I will remember for you. I will see what you can't see. When you forget,
When I forget,
when you forget,
will you remember for me?
I will remember.
When I forget,
When you forget,
will you remember for me?
I will remember.
Help
I
me
will
see
what you can't see.
when I forget.
When you forget,
When I forget,
I will remember.
when I forget,
I will remember.
when I forget.
Felipe, and you might remember Michael. He was here for our ordination and for the concert last year. So I'd like to go ahead and ask Myrna, come on up. She's going to do the invocation and the reading.
Good morning, Ahiah. It always amazes me, the music, it just strikes a chord in your heart. It just opens you to more love. So my reading today is from 365, Science of Mind. And I'm reading from April 2nd. It says, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Life is an adventure in which we never know what is going to happen, just beyond the turn in the road. But too often, our today is filled with regrets over the past. If we convince ourselves that the limitation of the past need not be carried into the future, what a happy outlook we would have. One of the outstanding things that Jesus taught us was that the mistakes of the yesterday can be canceled, that God's creation is always taking place, and no matter what experience of yesterday may have been, they can be changed. Jesus did not seem to think that this change required months and years of strenuous effort. Thank goodness. Unlike those around him, he knew that God, or the divine spirit, wishes only good for everyone. He knew that we are all rooted in pure spirit, in perfect life, and that any moment we can unify ourselves with the power of good, that evil will disappear from our experience. What a blessing to know. So let's just turn within and take that deep breath that we've been talking about today. And just giving thanks to God for the breath, for myself, for each and every person here. And in knowing that God breathes through me, as me. And as I know this for myself, I know that this is the truth for each and every person within the sound of my voice. I am so grateful for this. I am so grateful for our song this morning, our congregational song, that reminds us to surrender, to be thankful, to be grateful. I am just knowing that this is a good day, that we have everything that we need to make this service an event of good. We have wonderful music that inspires us, lifts us. We have volunteers that are here to just take care of us in any way that we need. We have a minister that is downloading the really word of God that leads and directs us, assists us on our way to a more complete, more loving existence. I am so grateful for all of this. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for each and every person here. And I just release my word into the law, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. And I just invite you to join me in saying, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Myrna. And so now I'd like to go ahead and ask Tina to come on up once again. And while she's coming up, let's give her a hand. But while she's coming up, what I'd like you to do is just go ahead and give your neighbor a nice little warm welcome, a nice hi, and I'll wave to all the people who are online. It's good to have you here online with us also. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Tina.
Hi there, everybody. We'll get started. In this moment, I paused. Let's start all over. For me. I went straight to the end of the song. Done. Thank you very much. I love you. Let's start all over for me. In this moment, I feel the earth move. I feel the breeze smooth across my face. In this moment, I see the butterfly. I I taste the sweet wine, I'm satisfied. Satisfied doesn't mean I will never grow, doesn't mean I will never know anything else. Satisfied doesn't mean it's the end of my life, just means that I'm satisfied being here and now with myself. In this moment, oh my goodness, nothing is wonderful. I got it. It's just what it is. In this moment, I pause to close my eyes. Whether I live or die, I'm satisfied. Satisfied doesn't mean I will never grow, doesn't mean I will never know anything else. Satisfied doesn't mean it's the end of my life, just means that I'm satisfied being here and now with myself. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. In this moment, I pause to close my eyes. Whether I live or die, I'm satisfied.
I'm satisfied too, you know. It's so good. You know, Tina, I have to say, this month's theme that we're moving into for April is the power of vulnerability. And you know, Tina just showed us a little vulnerability. And it's easy to be vulnerable when you're in a loving community. It's easy to be vulnerable when you know that you're safe with the people that are here. So, it's so good to be here. It's so good to know that Reverend Mike will be here at 1 o'clock. It's so good to just, you know, have a day here in the sun. So as I said, our theme for April, imagine that, we're already in April, you know, April 2nd. April Fool's Day was yesterday, so April 2nd here, the new theme, power of vulnerability. And, you know, when I started thinking about vulnerability, I started thinking, well, what does it mean to be vulnerable? How is it that we're vulnerable in life? And so, as I often do, I went and looked it up in the dictionary. And I didn't really like the dictionary's definition, because it says susceptible to physical or emotional attack. It's kind of like, you know, going to war or something. We're under attack. And I don't really think that that's what it means to be vulnerable. It isn't about covering up the places that, need a little armor because we're under attack. Vulnerability is actually a little bit more about a verb than it is about a noun. Vulnerability is more about what do we do in order to be vulnerable out in the world? How is it that we show up as being vulnerable? There's got to be some action involved. At my home, I have a dog. His name is Ganesh. He's a standard poodle. He's about 65 pounds, and he loves to sit in my lap. And, when the weather's warm, you'll always see him sleeping in his dog bed, and he'll be on his back, with his legs up and the whole belly exposed. And they say that dogs, when they feel comfortable in a house, when they feel like they're home, that's when they'll sleep like that. Because otherwise, right, you're back into attack mode. You're covering up the soft places. And so this is a picture of my dog, Ganesh, by the way. He kind of looks vulnerable, doesn't he? And so I started to think, I was like, well, what is it that makes me feel vulnerable? How is it that I go through life, taking an action that makes me vulnerable? And so for me, one of the things that came up for me was, well, when people ask me about art, it's funny. When people ask me about art and my opinion about art and all that, I feel vulnerable when I answer because I'm not an artist. And I am blessed, in my family life to have an artist living at the house. So I have this person who remembers every painting and every piece of artwork that we've ever seen together, it seems like, anyway. He'll take a look, we'll be flipping through something on the internet or something on the television, and there's this statue that shows up, and he'll go, yeah, we saw that one in Munich in 1999. And I'm like, oh, isn't that nice? And so when he asks for my opinion about art, I always feel like, I'm a physicist. I'm not an artist. But I try and answer him. So the question is, what makes you guys feel a little bit vulnerable? If you're willing to share, I'll repeat what you say so the people at home can hear you. Letting go can make you vulnerable. Risking what, Brent? Anything. Yeah. That's it about vulnerability is we are always, we're putting ourselves out there. We're risking. What else makes you vulnerable? What makes you feel vulnerable? Expressing yourself. Yeah, expressing your true self. Rather than the person that we, put the mask on to be. Yeah. Also, for me, I feel vulnerable when I try something new, right? When other people are watching, and I'm like, I've never done this before, and now I get to do it with an audience. Right? It makes me feel vulnerable. So today, our talk title is, it's defining and aligning. And so what I want to do today is I want to just talk a little bit about what does it mean to be vulnerable? How does it show up in our lives? And then how do we align to that vulnerability? If we decide that that's what we want to do, then how do we go about doing it? How do we align our life to vulnerability? So let's start out by defining it. And I've got a quote up here from Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of the philosophy that we teach here at Centers for Spiritual Living. And he says this, he says, the more we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities of life, the more vulnerable we become. But it is this vulnerability that allows us to truly connect with others and with the divine. Open ourselves up. Well, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it is the opposite of closing ourselves down, right? So we know what it feels like for sure to close ourselves down. We put barriers up. We put a mask on. We're not our real person around people. We feel like we have to be somebody else. And so that's what it means to shut ourselves down, or we just go quiet, right? That's another, normal mode for us when we close down. We just go quiet. But if we open ourselves up, then we open ourselves up, according to Ernest Holmes, to infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. Well, what does that mean? Why is that so? Well, here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we teach about what we call the creative process. And this is a process, it's a relationship that we have with the divine. It's a relationship where the one mind that God is our mind. There is no separation. There is no God and I. There is only the oneness that God is. And so we share that one mind, and our thoughts go into that one mind. Our beliefs go into that one mind. Our intentions are there. Our feelings are there. And so you can imagine that what gets created from that is different if we're closed, playing small, versus being open, being vulnerable. Just a little bit sometimes. And we say that Spirit always just says yes. There is no separation between what we think and what Spirit reflects back into our life. There's no edit. It's not that there's the guy in the sky up there that says, oh, well, that's a sweet thought, but wouldn't this be better? Here, I'll just give you this. Or there's not a guy in the sky who says, oh, no, you don't deserve that. I'll give you this instead. Instead, the relationship that we have with Spirit is yes. Yes, my darling, yes. And so it's our mind, it's our thoughts, it's our beliefs, it's our way of being in life that creates the life that we experience. And so if we are vulnerable, then we are open. We are willing to receive. And there's another saying by Ernest Holmes that goes something like this. He says that Spirit is always pouring all of itself into us. And we get to keep what we want and we believe we should receive. That's a paraphrase. He said it a little bit different. Same idea. And so as I open myself up to the infinite possibilities that are here that he talks about, as I open my life up to that, then I receive more. I receive the life of my dreams. I receive the love from people around me. I receive the good that has always been there, prepared for me. It's a nice way of looking at it. It's a nice way of knowing that there is a power in vulnerability. But I want to get into a little bit more about how we are vulnerable with each other, because it's important. It's not just important vulnerability in our way that we are with Spirit. It's important in our relationships also. And so let me start with how it might look to be a little more vulnerable. A woman and an author named Glennon Doyle, she says this, it's showing up on the screen here. She says, when we share our stories and our struggles, we create connections with others that are based on authenticity and empathy. Authenticity and empathy. Those are a couple of scary words too, they can't be. And so vulnerability, authenticity, empathy, they all kind of swirl together, right? We want to live in that space of vulnerability, authenticity, and availability, and empathy, all those words. And I think that everyone kind of has an idea about what it means to live a life of vulnerability. How to be vulnerable with other people. Sometimes, though, sometimes we don't quite get it right, though. They're not always good thoughts, because I say that because sometimes when we are with people, we don't quite do that vulnerability thing right. And so, we're supposed to, according to Glennon Doyle, we're supposed to share our stories and struggles. But there's this thing called oversharing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll give you an example of oversharing. How many of us have seen a couple do divorce over Facebook? Yeah. Lots and lots of oversharing, right? Or what about romantic comedies? If we don't do Facebook, which I actually kind of weaned myself off of for a while. I haven't done it for about a year, really. But if we don't do Facebook, there's always all these romantic comedies, what was it? Something About Mary. There was a great scene in that one where Ben Stiller is just way oversharing. And that can happen. That happens in various levels. Obviously, not to that level, right? In our sharing with people, but it does happen. And so it's a fine line, really, between sharing and oversharing. And so where is that line? How do we know where the line is? Well, to me it's kind of similar to, the jokes about being a redneck. Now, I feel comfortable telling you guys a redneck joke because I lived in Arkansas, I've lived in trailers, I've done all those things. So you could say this is a little bit about me, but there's the old joke about if your porch falls down and you injure more than 5 dogs, then you probably a redneck, right? I've been there. I've seen that. Not the porch falling down, but I've definitely seen 10, 15 dogs under a porch before. Now, on the other hand, we can have a similar, joke about oversharing. It goes something like this. If the guy's on his first date and he's telling the woman about his divorce and how she did him wrong, he's probably oversharing. And so we do that. We do overshare sometimes. And sometimes what we're looking for is we're looking for sympathy. Right? And so you could say, if you're looking for sympathy, you're probably oversharing. If you're looking to get them to side with you in a conversation, well, take a look. You might be oversharing. If you're looking for people to try and get something from them by sharing what you're sharing, Well, you might be oversharing in that situation. And if you've not, this one's kind of a special case. If you haven't finished processing your feelings on something, then you might be oversharing in the situation that you found yourself in. It's not that, sharing is bad. And in those cases, what we want to do is we want to have a few friends, the close friends, the people that we say, okay, I'm going to overshare with you, and it's okay for you to overshare with me. And so then we can be in a situation where we're supported and we're loved, and everybody understands. So rather than oversharing, then, what should we be doing? How should we be showing up? Well, we want to come from that place of the power of vulnerability. We want to come from that place of being authentic. We want to come from the place of being open and loving and caring. We want to come from that place of making connections with people. How do we make connections with people? By caring. Mm-hmm. By sharing. Sharing honestly, sharing from that place inside of you that doesn't expect anything from the other person. You're just sharing who you are because you care about them. And so we can come from this place of the power of sharing. We can come from this place of the divine, because how does the divine interact with us? By accepting us. When we talk about divine love, that divine love, it shows up as acceptance. It shows up as it's good to have you here. It shows up as I know exactly who you are, and you don't have to change one little bit in order for the grace that Spirit is to enwrap you and enfold you in the love that it is. And so, sometimes I think we need to remember to look up. Sometimes I think we remember Spirit is there by looking up. I want you to try something now with me. I want you to just look at me and say, I love you. I love you too. But now I want you to just raise your eyes up to the ceiling and say to that essence that is everywhere, I love you. The first one feels good, but to me, the second one feels divine. All we have to do to connect with the power of vulnerability is be vulnerable with Spirit. That's the place to start. With love in our hearts, open wide to this presence, this life, this power that is everywhere and every when, that we know there is no judgment from. And when we can do this, when we can be here in this place with Spirit, knowing the love that God is, then I can come back to you and I can bring that love right through me to you. So I love you, and I love you. And so I have an affirmation for us today. Oh, I forgot a quote. How about this from Brene Brown? Oversharing is not vulnerability. It is not intimacy. It is compulsive self-disclosure. You gotta love Brene, I swear. She has great little lines. So I do have an affirmation here. It's showing on our screen. Let's say it together. I let the power of vulnerability open my heart. Let's say it one more time. I let the power of vulnerability open my heart. And so as you go out into your week this week, what I would love for you to do is just open yourself up. Open yourself up to Spirit. And then open yourself up to the people all around you. And as you do that, think about, as you're out with people, am I oversharing? It's good to share, but am I oversharing? Am I looking for sympathy? Am I needing something from the person I'm sharing with? And then, as we are vulnerable with Spirit, do the Spirit vulnerability piece first before we do it with other people. And as always, if you're confused at all, not quite sure what to do or how to implement this, then just let Spirit guide you. Thank you, and namaste. And so now's the time to just let a little bit of prayer anchor these ideas into our life, into our mind, into our thoughts, into our hearts. And so I invite you to come along with me in a little bit of prayer, knowing absolutely that this life, this power, this presence that is the divine, it is the life that is Spirit, is the life that moves in, as, and through everything. It is this one life that is the life that God is, that creates out of itself into our lives, just saying yes. It is the life that knows all of its creation is good. It is the life that lives and moves and has its way with us, creating out of the peace and the joy and the harmony and the love and the abundance that it is. And just as that's the truth of God, it's the truth of ourselves, because we are the life, the power, the presence that God is. Since there is only one life, that life must be our life. This life is my life. It's your life. It's everybody's life who is online. It's the life of every living thing here on this planet and across this entire universe. The one life that God is. It moves through us and as us with grace, with love, with joy, with harmony, with peace. And so it's from that place of knowingness that I speak my word as the truth of each and every one of us here today and online, that we are the life and the power and the presence that God is. And so that love that God is, it speaks through us and as us. It forms every connection that we have with another person. It is the love that buoys us up. It is the love that knows that we are perfectly good. It is the love that helps us and moves us forward in our life. It is the love that is there, listening in its own fashion. And we can say anything to that love. We can expose every part of us. We know that we are safe within the breath of God. We know that love, only love creates. It is out of that knowingness that I give thanks. It's out of the knowingness that we are the love that God is. It's out of the knowingness that the divine is right here, right now, because it is always everywhere. And I give thanks for that knowingness, and I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now is the time for our conscious contributions. And so if you are here in the pews, there are offering envelopes that are in the pew. If you put your name on the envelope, then we know who that came from. And if you are online, there are three ways to donate to Ahiah. One is to go to ahiah.com/donate and go through the steps there. Another is to just text the word give off of your smartphone to 616, not 626, 616-229-2225. And then the last way is just to mail it in by snail mail, that old way that we've always used. We love getting the checks from you. And if you do give us a check, I appreciate so much the little love notes that come with our checks. And so it's so good however you do that. We have the ushers coming up from the sides for the people who are here today. I want to thank Betty and Dorothy for doing that. And we have a blessing here on our screen. Let's go ahead and say that together. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to ask Tina to come on up. She's going to do another song for us today.
While the guys are getting situated, I just want to acknowledge the fact that I have a good friend here today. I grew up in Canton, Ohio. I don't know if you guys know where the Football Hall of Fame is. That's the only thing we can claim, A few more things like Timken Roller Bearing, where I think you retired for Timken Roller Bearing? Yeah. So his name is Stanley Williams. I've known him since I was this big. We went to the same church. He grew up and he at some point was a minister as well. And he is here with his wife, Donna, and I'm so proud of them, and I'm dedicating this song to them. I wrote this song. It's called The Joy of Living. They are living the life. They're in an RV crossing the country, and let's give them a big hug when they're after church. Okay? God bless you. Love you. Okay. Oh, yeah. I close my eyes and count my blessings. Heaven's fountain overflows. Angels sing on high and here below. Oh, every rock and every creature join in perfect harmony, praising God and helping me to know the joy of living, the joy of giving, yes, the joy of being right here, right now. the joy of caring, oh, the joy of sharing, yes, the joy of being right here, right now. Ooh, yes. When I pause to count my blessings, precious memories flood my soul. The scent of morning blossoms everywhere. Oh, I am strong and I am healthy. I will sing a song of love, urging all humanity to share in the joy of living. Oh, the joy of giving what you have, the joy of being right here, right now, the joy of caring, oh, the joy of sharing, oh, the joy of being right here, right now. Don't you know that your life can be beautiful when you let go, when you let go, and life can be so wonderful when you finally know the joy of living, ah, the joy of giving, oh, the joy of living right here, right now. Ooh, joy of being, oh, and the joy of seeing all that's around you, the joy of living right here, right now. Yeah. The joy of being right here, right now. Ain't it good to be here? The joy of being right here, right now.
More and more joy all around us. Yes, yes. All right. Well, I see a passel of young people back in the back. So let's go ahead and have them come on up, and they're going to share a little bit about what they're doing today with us. We have our Youth and Family Director, Lisa Ortiz. We have Malachi. Don't see Matthias today.
Good morning. No, we are missing Matthias. He has a cold. And we're missing Susan Rios. She is under the weather this morning as well, so we'll just keep them in our thoughts and prayers. So it's April. Yesterday was my son's birthday, April Fool's Day. I did say when I got to the hospital in the wee hours of the 31st, whatever happens, I don't want an April Fool's baby, but it didn't work out. But I love April, especially lately, because I haven't, even though spring, I guess, was a week or two ago, it hasn't seemed like spring. So, but it is. So we talked about spring and love and new life and friendship today. And friendships are really, really important because they help us discover as we're growing up who we are and who we want to be. And our friendship and our is very vital to our spiritual growth as well, as it offers so much support on our life's journey. So today we talked about different ways, like what friendship means to us, the way in which we want to experience it, and how to deepen that experience. And where's my Harper? Harper, can you come over? Harper came up with some really beautiful qualities that are important to her for friendship, and she would like to share them.
Friendship is like friends who care about you and love you and be grateful about what you give them.
Thank you. Absolutely. You can go back. And we have a couple teens who also they talked about friendship in the teen room as well. They're going to share.
Hi. So yes, we talked about friendship too, and like what it means to us and what we value in a friend, and how important it is to support each other and how we can do that. And we did an activity that Alex is going to tell you about.
Okay, so for the activity, we had 2 people sit down on the ground and lock their arms, and then one person had to try and stand up, which didn't work. So then they both had to try and stand up together, which took a lot of trial and error until they finally got it. And then afterward, you talked to your partner and you asked them to write down one thing that you want them to pray for you for. And you're going to take the sticky note and keep it, and then you give your partner something that they want you to pray for them for the entire week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, we have a few announcements, starting off with today is the annual meeting, and so it's from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock. I would love for everybody to attend. You don't have to be a member to attend. You do have to be a member in order to vote. So when you come back in, we're going to go into the fellowship hall after everything's done. We're going to go in the fellowship hall. We've got, I think I bought almost 15 pounds of chicken fettuccine. So we have a lot of pasta, we've got some salad, we got some fruit, we've got some water to drink. I'm not sure if there's anything else to drink, but we have some stuff to hold you over until 1 o'clock. If you are online, you're welcome to come down here. We would love to see your face in person. But we'll also be doing it on Zoom, not on Facebook, not on YouTube, only on Zoom. So if you are on Facebook or YouTube, go to ahiah.com/virtual and hit the Go to Zoom link, and that will take you to Zoom, and that's where we're going to have the annual meeting. We'll be having it back in here as you come back in from going out and having a little bit of food. You'll check in with Jackie and Betty. Are you going to be back there? Jackie and Betty. Betty's holding up her hand. They're going to be at that table that's right there. And they're going to check you in if you're a member, and they're going to give you a little green wristband so that if we have a vote, you can raise your arm and show that you're a member, okay? So that's the way that'll go. And I want to remind you that we're going to be voting for Michael Daniker, whether to put him on or not onto the board. That's one vote. We also have a vote about extending Deborah Glick's term on the Board of Trustees by 1 year. Those are two things. But besides that, we're going to be talking about where we've been this year. What are all the wonderful things that we've done? We're going to talk about where we plan to go this coming year. We've got some slides on our finances that Deborah Glick, as our treasurer, will talk about. And, we'll just have a good time from 1 to 3. So just go on, have some food, come back. And then I'd like to go ahead and ask Christine to come on up. Christine Wong. You guys know Basha? How many of you guys remember Basha? She used to teach yoga, and she still teaches yoga. Basha introduced me to Christine, and so we're talking about doing yoga, but we have actually something on the schedule for the what is it, the 16th, 15th, 16th of April.
Thank you so much, Reverend Scott. Oh my God, like he's the best. I don't know. When I first met him, I just felt this instant like home, and I felt that way coming here. The vibe is beautiful. I love the music that you just sang. I mean, I was just vibing with everything here. And I'm very honored, and blessed to be able to share the same blessings of healing, and feeling. I love the theme of vulnerability that you were speaking about. I was listening to you live all the way I was driving here. And I definitely am connecting with that energy. I'm an energy healer, and I actually call myself more of a practical energy healer. When I say practical, we live every day, grinding, having a balance of life, right? And we just don't know what we're doing. But in the same time, we were like, well, what's the purpose? Why are we trying to wake up every day? Well, I want to teach you some skills that will allow you to balance your energy, because really, as a healer, you have to really understand yourself, and it really is a connection of the divine, of spirituality. And that's why I really resonated with this, church, this organization. Everything that you speak of is really resonating with my heart as well, and the openness that, that I definitely want to share with you. So I come from two backgrounds. I actually have two types of energy healing. I learned Reiki, which actually through Basha, and I learned this other one that's called transpersonal energy healing, and I like to put the two healing modalities into one. And then I also apply my yoga and meditation, and I have an MSW. So I have a lot of background in healing, especially about trauma. I used to work in a DV shelter. I mean, I just have a lot of, information. So if you have something in specifically that you want, we can talk about that in the class. I will speak briefly about the history, but I'm more about the practical aspect of it. And then tapping into each of whoever comes, I wish you guys can all come and participate and really share about your own experience of living, and being. And I love the presence of what you're saying, being, being here. That is exactly what energy healing does. And for you to be a healer, if you want to be one, you have to heal yourself. And you heal others through that process. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. So the name of the workshop is Balancing Mind and Body with Energy Healing. It is the 16th of April, so that's just 2 weeks from today. It's here only. It's live. We'll be in the fellowship hall. It's from 1 to 3, and there's a $20 love offering. So that's a recommended amount of money. So we'd love to have you there for that. We have also Reverend Mike. He talked about his hackers toolkit, opening the hackers toolkit, staying safe in cyberspace. So that will be the 30th of April. And we also have tickets for the Dodgers baseball game, and that is May 13th at 4:15 p.m. So that's a Saturday. And so we're going to, let's go out to the ball game. We had a lot of fun at the Dodgers game last year. I wasn't able to make it last year because I was out of town, but this year I'm going to go. So I hope you guys come along with me. And there's QR codes on all of this to help us to get to the right place to buy tickets or to register. And then I've done 4 Enneagram classes, workshops already. So this is the 5th one. If you want to join us, it's still possible, but I need to get you caught up first before you come. If you haven't done any Enneagram work before, I'd need to help you to type yourself and to understand a little bit about where you are. Or if you missed some of the classes, if you took a couple and you missed a couple, why don't we talk? Just call me up and we'll figure out how to get you caught up so you feel well in line with everybody else when you come to the workshop. But this is going to be in May, on the 21st of May, from 1 to 2 p.m. I want to remind you we have book study on Tuesdays, the Healing Circle on Wednesdays, and we have a load of practitioners here. We have 10 practitioners at Ahiah today, if you're a practitioner, would you go ahead and stand up? I know that we got Jackie and Myrna that are in the back. We got Chris up here. Of course, I'm a practitioner. I love to pray with people. So anybody who would like a little bit of prayer, we call it a 3 to 5 minute miracle prayer after service, we would love to see one of you. You can also, if you want to do it afterwards or offline, you can go and talk to one of our practitioners by getting their contact information here on the web at ahiah.com/meet our practitioners with dashes between the words. We also do online prayers. Nobody but the practitioners and ministers ever see those prayers. So you can feel safe in putting your prayers online at ahiah.com/prayers. And we also do a dial-a-prayer. It's a weekly prayer that you can call and hear it on the line, or you can see it on our website. And so it's time for our benediction. Let's go ahead and do the benediction and then go have something to eat. How's that? All right. We've got it on the slide here. Let's say it together. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it. And I share it. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. So I love you guys. It's been so good being here with you today. I look forward to seeing you for the annual meeting at 1 o'clock. I've got some stuff. I'll be in here getting things ready for the meeting. I'll run in there and get a little bit of food. But you guys, go ahead and go enjoy yourself. Get a little bit of food and come back here at 1 o'clock. See you then. Love you. Thank you. Namaste.
Yeah, just that's my thought.